welcome everybody to another great episode of Real Life Matters. And of course, I am your host, DBoss. And I just hope everybody's been doing their 15 minutes of laughing or more per day, because you know that it releases all the endorphins in your body. It helps you keep looking youthful. It also heals your body if you're going through any types of situation, or if you're depressed or grieving or anything, that helps you also. It also tones your abs. But, as I tell people, do not stop going to the gym, because that's not just going to be the only thing that's going to keep your abs toned. So some people say, oh, if it tones my abs, I don't have to go to the gym. No. And then also, if you're feeling bad or something like that, you're putting out in the atmosphere what you're going to get back. And if you're happy and stuff like that. So don't tell me that you can't find anybody that you can laugh with, because you could call somebody, you could put something funny on, you can, there's all these streaming things you could do now. So it's not like, oh, I don't know anybody to laugh with or nothing like that. But, I talked to this one comic that he came on. He's a comic comedian. And he said, most parents that come from the Caribbean, or people come, they're naturally joyful and making jokes all the time. So you just got to go hang around them, and then then you maybe did your hour. Yes, it'll hurt your body, but just thinking that it's a good hurt, because you'll be laughing out all that stuff. So I have a special guest today. I don't know if it's this week, it's Community Week, Festival Week, but here in Ontario and Toronto and across this is the city for all these festivals, and they're always very well attended. So people, look, you're gonna have to look. You can check my Facebook, my Instagram, and you'll see what's going on and what's around the city if you're not here around in the city and everywhere else. So we'll be right back after our sponsor, Vital Steps to Vital Health.
Welcome to your Vital Steps to Better Health. I'm Joanne James. Today we're going to talk about exercising in the sun. We all love the sun. It's been the winter. Now we want to get out into the fresh air and enjoy the great weather. However, we have to be very mindful when we're exercising in the sun. First of all, you want to protect your skin at all costs. Regardless of your background, you still need to wear a sunblock of 30 plus. Also, you want to make sure you're wearing a hat to protect your facial skin, as well as glasses to protect your eyes. Also, make sure that you hydrate as you're doing your activities. Sometimes you won't feel that you're thirsty, but in actual fact you are. So make sure you drink. Don't wait to become dehydrated first. And listen to your body. If you start feeling a little nauseous or dizzy or fatigued, that might be signs of a heat stroke. Get into the shade, sit down, and call somebody to assist you. Being out in the sun and exercising is great, but you have to be very, very, very aware of where you are, what you're doing, and make safety your top priority. I'm Joanne James, and this has been your Vital Steps to Better Health and Fitness. See you next time.
Thank you, Joanne James, for that tip. People, and it doesn't mean liquor and wine and all beer is not liquidation or hydrating your body. Yes, you can drink that, but you got to make sure that you have your water. Some people might think, oh, well, I'm drinking a beer, I'm drinking a glass of wine, it's not. No. That is because that dehydrates your body. So please drink your water. Put that. If you're doing that, please incorporate some water also with it, and you'll feel a lot better. Trust me on this hot. And we're getting a little bit of hot days here today. So this is why the hairdo is the way it is. So. It's all about the hair. I'm not going to do my hair and then it's going to come back like this. I'm sorry. But anyways, I got somebody who's been keeping the jazz festival and the love of jazz, and she's been working so hard to keep it alive. And she's also a singer, and she does so many things. She's very, very busy. Some people say they're busy, but then they're not really busy. But she's the co-chair of of the Niagara, the co-creator and the executive artistic producer of the Niagara Jazz Festival. So we're going to find out about all the stuff that's going on and everything with her, why she wants to start it, what happened, where she wants to be at. So with no further ado, I introduce to you Juliet Dunn.
Hi, everybody. Thanks, DBoss, for having me. Nice to meet
Yes,
you. This is so exciting.
yes. Well, I see you a little bit smiling there with the people with the liquor. Thinking
Oh, yeah,
that's
you saw me backstage. I'm listening to everything and about hydration. I'm like, yep, yep. And of course, yeah, neither coffee, tea, nor alcohol counts as hydration. And here, where we are in the Niagara region, there's a heat advisory. So it's 30 degrees right now, but 40 with the humidity, and got to stay hydrated for sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
you got to keep drinking and don't stop. You know what I mean? Don't think. Oh, and when you're not, as Joanne James said, in from Buddy said, even though you might not feel thirsty, that you have to check that as a sign that you might be getting a heat stroke.
Yeah, I saw my dad one time. I have a sauna and he got dehydrated. It's frightening because it comes on like that. And then the sweats and they're like about to pass out. And you're like, oh my gosh. And then once you get the hydration in there, but you can end up hospitalized. So
Yeah, because
make
they got
sure
to put that IV and all these festivals. People are out in the sun, walking
yeah,
around, going to this booth, and then they forget. You
yeah.
know, something like that. So it's really thing.
Here's a sign, and I mean it's a bit, but here's a sign of when you're dehydrated. If you're having drinks all day and you're out at a festival and you're not using the bathroom, yeah, you're dehydrated. Sorry, but it's true. It's happened to
Why
me.
didn't you go? Why did you go to the bathroom for 8 hours?
Yeah, you're like, wait a minute. Yeah, you're dehydrated. Okay.
everything
Ain't that
everything came out of you. All the
and then
water
the body goes,
evaporated.
stop. And then you pass out. Anyway,
But it's true.
I digress.
No, but but you have to think about that. That's a very important thing. You know what? You're out for
Yeah.
4 hours. You didn't go to the washroom, and you're consuming drinks or you're consuming things or
Lemonade.
something's
Yeah.
going on.
Yeah, yeah. Because you're sweating it out. Yeah. So that's a good idea. Like, water.
And if you don't like, some people, I don't like the flat water. I like the carbonated one. So
Yeah.
I like that because I find that when you drink, it's easier to go down. So just
Yeah.
as long as you're getting your hydration is important. Like you could just drink, those carbonated ones if you like
Yeah.
that, because then and they even have some I think flavored. I think they have lemon and all
Yeah.
different flavors with it.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
So just keep yourself, just bring, even if you have your drinks, but you drink between.
Yeah. Exactly. One glass of wine, one glass of
Other
water.
guys
No
of this.
coffee, no water. That's the rule. Yeah.
All right. Well, Juliet.
Keep on.
well, Juliet
Yeah.
here
All
at
right.
one and
Sorry.
one. You got to do one and one. No, but you got to do that. And plus, you do what you do. The festivals, people are out there all day.
Yeah.
So what are you doing all day? Were you drinking alcohol all day till you got here to the night? No. And it's hot outside? I don't think so. You need to drink some water.
Exactly. Exactly.
Sometimes they offer it for free when you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah. So often in the Niagara region, you have the Niagara region water truck that comes to a lot of the events, and then you just fill up your bottle. Yeah.
Yeah, a big one, people. Not a shot glass full.
Exactly.
Julie, my seventh grade. All right. So here at Real Life Matters, we like to know where people come from and their cultural background.
Okay. So my heritage is I'm half Jamaican on my father's side. I'm half British on my mother's side. So I'm mulatto. I'm mixed. I was born in England. I don't have a British accent because I was 5 years old when we moved to Canada to the West Coast.
Okay.
So I don't sound British, but I'm half British. I was there from age 5 to 18. And then I went to live as an 18-year-old. I left home and I went by myself to France because I wanted to learn French and I liked fashion. So I went to Paris, France. Yeah, and I lived there at first for a year, but then I was like, oh, I love it. And so I actually lived there for 13 years from age 18 to 30. My family stayed in BC. Then I came back to BC in my 30s. I was married for my first time and we settled there. And then shortly after that, I was hired to work in a as an actress in a theater company out here in the Niagara region called the Shaw Festival. And I moved out here in 20, no,
Oh,
sorry, two. Yeah. And I was divorced at that time. And so I came out here and I made my life here in Niagara since 2002. I met my second husband, Peter, in 2006. I was already doing theater and music. He was doing music on his end. We got together when we met, of course, make it, it's kind of a cliche, but we started to make music together in more ways than one.
okay.
And so Peter and I, he was a piano player, singer, and drummer. I'm a singer mainly, an actress. And but with Peter, I didn't. The years I was with Peter, I just didn't have as many acting opportunities. But we worked a lot as jazz musicians. We worked on several high end cruise ships, so we would travel as a couple, which was great. Then we did a couple of hotel gigs in China, Marrakesh, and then I got a job at the radio here in the Niagara. Well, no, in Ontario at Jazz FM 91, which is a Toronto
Okay.
station. Yeah, and so we stopped traveling because that was a great opportunity to work on the radio station. And since we'd stopped moving around, I said maybe we should start a jazz series. We did in 2011. Then I went, maybe we should turn it into a festival. We tried it in 2013, but without a support. And we did everything, and it was a lot of work. But at least we kind of put the idea out there. And in 2014, we launched our first annual Niagara Jazz Festival presented by TD, which is our bank sponsor. TD
Well,
Medical.
she got on that.
And it's been on
Well,
board since day
they're
one.
getting they're getting their thing.
They're great. Yeah, well, and you know what? They've seen, like, we're like a mom and pop festival that grew, from a husband and wife jazz duo that started a festival. But now we are part of Jazz Festivals of Canada. We're amongst, the bigger ones like Montreal, Toronto, Ottawa, Vancouver, Victoria.
Wow.
We're one of them, but we're homegrown. I mean, we created it. I still, I've got a general manager, so I don't like to say I still run it, but I'm still the face of the festival. I'm full time right now because it's crunch time, but now I've moved into halftime. But first of all, there aren't a lot of festivals that are still run by the people who started them. So we're one of them. So we're proud to say that. And also, as a Black female, I'm very proud to be a leader in the industry. Right?
Yes.
So, yay. Um, also,
Kudos.
I come from a community in Vancouver. I was never in a Black community just because of where we lived in Vancouver. And at the time, there were more bigger Asian population in Vancouver than Black.
Is
So
it
I
still like that now, or is it equalized?
no, it's not equalized. It's still just because of the location, and I guess it was when Hong Kong, that was back in, I guess, the 80s. It's just
Yeah.
geographically to Hong Kong, so there's a lot of more Asian people in Vancouver. There's
Right.
probably a bigger Black population in Vancouver than when I lived there. Let's say, so I was there in the
Yeah.
70s to mid 80s, but still, I think there's a bigger Indian population.
Okay.
But I still don't think it's a huge, it's still kind of outnumbered. And so just because of where I grew up, I didn't really have Black role models, right? So if I can be
Mhm.
a role model for young Black people to say, hey, there's options, and you can be a musician, but you can also be an arts admin person too, right? Like, and in the music industry, it's not just the singers and the musicians. There's the stage crew, there's AV, there's all of these people who are involved in our festival, behind the scenes as well. So music is actually an option as a career, right? And so I just didn't have many role models when I was growing up because of where I lived. So if I can be a role model for some
Well,
young,
it could have been as bad where I was at. I was born in Saskatchewan.
oh, okay, okay, so yeah, even
And my dad still lives out there, Moose Jaw and Regina. So we're like, you
Mhm.
didn't see anybody over there. And if you did see people, it was like, wait a minute. My dad's like, pull over. Whoa, 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 whoa. Where do you live? You live? Well, you just moved into the area?
Yeah, wow,
Everybody's
wow, there
coming.
you go.
Come to your house. Come tonight. You're not doing for supper? Okay, you guys are invited to come to supper. And that's
Exactly,
how
right?
people lived. You didn't see,
Yeah.
or you see Spanish, or you saw everybody. So I grew up with all of the natives, and
Yeah.
stuff. Like a lot of people. But then my parents got divorced. My mom decided to go to Montreal, so
Oh, nice,
we got the
nice.
French in there.
And there's a lot of cultural diversity in Montreal and Toronto as well.
They're totally different because when we saw all those black people living there, I remember we were on the train, the metro, the subway, and I said to my mom, "What are these people? Are these people on vacation here?" They said,
I
"No."
know.
I said,
It's
"No."
so true. The first time I saw a lot of black people other than going to Jamaica was in
Yeah,
Paris, France. And then they were all speaking French, and I was like totally confused. I was like, oh, people are from Congo and Togo, right? And Cote d'Ivoire.
yes.
I was like, wow, I'd never seen so many black people, right? Because in Vancouver, nope. There was my dad and my siblings and my physics teacher.
But people don't understand that when you grow up somewhere, because I remember with our family members and cousins and stuff, they said, "You guys never heard that's never cool again? Where are you guys from? You don't hear? You know SOS Band? No. Do you know what it is? No. You know what? No. Where are you
Ah,
guys? So
yeah,
what do you guys know?" I said, "Well, we know country music, we know rock and roll, we know what I mean. We can dance
you
better than
know,
y'all, rock and roll, the square dancing, the line dancing. We knew how to do
yeah,
all that. So, but it didn't take long to adjust, just as like we never heard that music. So we're
no,
like, and we heard a bit of jazz when we were down there, jazz in the out west.
yeah,
That's all we knew.
yeah,
So
yeah.
So,
Yeah, it's
so what
wild.
type of challenges did you have? Any challenges putting up this festival and the jazz? Because people will talk about getting it done, but what about the thing behind the scene?
Listen, it's a lot. And I must admit, it's way more than I ever thought. I remember when I was like, let's do a festival. My husband was like, yeah, okay. He wasn't really, he wanted to play music because he was like, just like three instruments, just music, music, music. And I was like, oh, we should do a festival. And so, I took it on. But then honestly, it's a way bigger deal than I thought. Like, it's a lot. And I
Yes.
remember, I remember one festival up Northern Ontario. He's like, "Are you sure you want to do this?" And at first I thought, "Why is he telling me to not do it?" But then he was actually, I realize now he was actually trying to say, "Careful what you wish for, because this is we're opening a big can of worms, right?" Anyway, I'm in it. And then my husband would be like, "How long do you want to do this?" Because it can be a lot of stress, right? There's so many moving parts. And I remember him saying, "Well, how long would you want to do this?" And it's like any new business, you invest everything you have into it, your money, your time, your spirit,
Yes.
everything. Right? So after like a couple of years, like they say, a new business takes at least 3 years. So
Yeah.
after a couple of years, he's like, well, how long would you want to do this? And I'm like, listen, I've come this far. I'm like, I don't know, maybe 10 years. And I remember saying that back in the day. And he looked at me and went, 10 years. And I kind of went, 10 years? Like it seemed so long. And
Yeah,
now
but
here
that's
we
how things get. Has to. Then people will know.
Yeah. Well, that's it. The thing is, as much as we market and everything, there's still people who's like, I've never heard of you. And it's like we're in a year 11 and people here in the region, right? And so it takes a long time. And it takes, a lot of volunteer power. We have a board of volunteers because it's a not-for-profit charitable organization. We have many volunteers, and I volunteered 8 years of my time. Right. The only way I could do that is because we had an Airbnb, because otherwise I wasn't making a salary. Right.
Wow.
I didn't make a salary, and it's not like it's a big salary. Don't get into the arts if you want a big salary, because it's not about the salary. Just so you know, because people see
Yes.
festivals. And, oh no, if you want to make money, don't get into the arts. That's just it, right? But that's
Uh-huh.
okay because we're not in it for the money. We're in it for what it does for the community, and
Yes.
fostering these youth performers that will then carry on not only jazz but just music in general. That's what it's about. But yeah, for 8 years I didn't get a salary, right? And that's a lot,
Uh-huh.
but I believe in it so strongly. And so did my late husband. Unfortunately, he passed very young at age 50 2 years ago. But even
Uh,
before amazing. He saw the impact he had had on these youth musicians, especially as a musician himself, because he would accompany a lot of the youth performers, help them out, mentor them, and he's really left a legacy. We've created an award in his honor that we're bringing out in a couple of weeks for the first time. It's called the Peter Shea Award. Because he was a multi-instrumentalist, I've decided to only give it to a multi-instrumentalist ages grade 8 to 12. So we've got
Okay.
quite a few submissions for that, and we'll keep that going. And yeah, it's really, really important. One of the things we like to do is offer free events. We have ticketed events, of course, because you've got to get some revenue. We have
Yes.
TV, we have major sponsors and partners like Ontario Creates, the Humanic Foundation. I'm going to forget some, but Falls View Casino, OLG, Cardinal Kia. There's many, many that you can find on our website, niagarajazzfestival.com. So we get money from sponsors and funders, funding from the government. We have money from donors. We have money from ticket sales. So we do have ticketed events. But what's important is the free events, right? Because
Okay.
when I was a kid, we went to the Folk Arts Festival in Vancouver. We went to the Jazz Festival. We went to different festivals. My parents came from, Jamaica and England, 4 kids in the 70s. They didn't have money. Like, I don't even know how they did it, to be honest. But what they did do was expose us to the arts, and it was free. Now, they wouldn't have been able to afford to take us all to a performing arts center
Right.
for a family of 6. That's a lot of money, right?
Yes.
And so, it's important for us. We really believe not everybody's an intellect, not everybody's going to be good at sports. There's kids that might be good at music or could do something in the music industry. So when they come to a park and they see these professional musicians at the top of their game playing music, and everything that goes around a festival, that kid might be like not doing well at school and not doing well in sports and kind of feel like there's no place in the world for me. And then they see that, and then they're like, maybe there's a place. And that's so important. So that's a big part of our mission, is to have free events, and encourage young people, in to do other careers.
Okay. So what's your lineup? Who you having coming down for this lineup?
Yes, so we launch on Friday, which is in a couple of days, or I think this airs on Thursday, so it's tomorrow. So we launch on Friday, June 21st. We're celebrating Juneteenth, which is today across the border, also National Indigenous Peoples Day, which is actually June 21st. So we're kicking it off with an Indigenous opening by Aqua. We bring in an Indigenous performer for a self-taught jazz musician from Toronto called Sean Stanley. He's bringing in his quintet. I just found out it was a quartet, but he's bringing in the quintet. He'll be opening. We also have our youth openers from our youth program. They're in the older category, so age 19 and up. That's the Mateus Gretzinger Quartet. So they'll be opening, because we also always like to give our youth performers a chance to be on a professional stage. And then the headliners are the Blackburn Brothers, and they all hail from Toronto, but they're also their lineage, their heritage. They are descendants of freedom seekers from the States, and came up through the Underground Railroad. And for those who know the Niagara region, St. Catharines is where Harriet Tubman's church is located.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be not only a great concert, but also educational. We've partnered with Niagara Parks. I'm co-producing it with Tim Johnson, who is,
Okay.
and I want to make sure I get Tim's title right. So I'm going to just give you Tim's exact title. But Tim Johnson is an amazing individual who we've known for many years, that we met through his uh, festival called Celebration of Nations. And now I'm scrolling to find his exact title, because I just want to make sure. Oh, sorry, I should have had this pulled up as well.
It's okay.
I'm going to come. Yeah, I want to circle back, because I don't want to misquote his exact title, because I know it's a longer title. But he is an advisor to the Niagara Parks. And so with Tim, we've co-produced this show. Tim was also a co-producer of Rumble, The Indians Who Rocked the World, which is an amazing documentary.
Okay.
And that documentary basically gives the history of how Indigenous music and culture has influenced jazz and blues. Sorry. It was an incredible documentary. And then Tim produced a concert called Rumble the Concert, which my late husband Peter and I were involved with. And what happened during the concert was there'd be projections from the documentary, and it would go from live music to little snippets of interviews with different musicians and artists. And it was a really nice formula. And so then we did an event called the First Ladies of Jazz, where we talked about Billie Holiday, Ella Fitzgerald, and Mildred Bailey, who was a lesser known indigenous jazz performer. And we did the same kind of format, a concert, and then some snippets with interviews with people who had either worked with Billie Holiday or had stories about Ella Fitzgerald, etc. So this show, The Power of Music, is the same. We've interviewed several people within the United States community, with the Ontario community, all connected to either the history of jazz or the Underground Railroad. And so it's going to be educational as well. There'll be snippets from those interviews during the show. And that's just the flagship of it. How much time do we have?
Oh, no, it's okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show, you have a couple clips here, so I'm going to show this Experience the Magic.
Yeah.
So tell us, that's about the show, or tell us about what that clip
I think, is that the first clip I sent? Does it say Niagara Parks on it? Because I'm just looking at the link.
I have one, Power of the Music.
Yeah, that's the one. So if you show that clip, that basically shows you where the event is going to be held, the one I just talked about. It's a Niagara Parks venue. It's at the Niagara Falls. You're in Niagara Falls, Canada, looking at Niagara Falls, New York.
Okay.
That's the stage. The musicians are on a stage, and you bring your long lawn chair. You have a nice whatever you want, and you've got the Niagara Falls there. Luckily, with this heat, there'll be a little bit of mist, I think, from the falls down. And that's the only reason we're not bringing our Steinway grand piano on that stage, just because, like, you know, turn of the wind and it would get wet. So we'll just soak it up. It's going to be wonderful. And that one, I've given you a promo code that you can share. So we've got a 25% discount off of that show for anyone who's interested. And we also offer, I'll put that in the chat for you as well. We also always offer a 50% discount on our shows for anybody who's a musician, an arts worker, or a student. Because often people give students discounts, but let's face it, as I mentioned, arts workers are not making millions. And also musicians, you know, a lot of musicians do it for the passion, and they're not rolling in the dough unless they read Drake or The Weeknd. But, you know, musicians, you know, so I'm putting that promo code in there, and that's for industry 24, 50% discount. Yeah.
Okay, so do you want me to show this Experience the Magic?
If you have
or
time.
Just show Power of the Music? Yeah.
Oh, Power of Music. I'm not sure what the Experience the Magic one is, so I'm not sure what I said there. So Power of Music would be the one to show, yeah.
Okay, all right. Okay, let's go. Let's watch this.
If you're a fan of jazz, I can't imagine a better place to experience a jazz concert. My name is Juliet Dunn, and I'm the co-creator and executive artistic producer of the 11th annual Niagara Jazz Festival. So the event is celebrating a number of things. We're celebrating Indigenous Month, we're celebrating the history of jazz, and also the connection to Niagara and the Underground Railroad. The event is called The Power of Music. The falls are so powerful, and music is so powerful. It's as simple as that. So we have a Sean Stanley trio, followed by the Blackburn Brothers. We always like to start all of our shows with youth performers. The event takes place here at Oaks Garden Theatre, Friday, June 21st. Tickets are $40, and we're actually donating $1 for each ticket sale to Music Counts. We also always offer reduced tickets for musicians, arts workers, and students. So those tickets are half price. What I love about jazz is the freedom in the music, the freedom to express oneself. And what I love about music in general is just how it unites everyone.
Everyone's in tune, the audience, the music, and it just becomes one homogeneous, magical moment.
What I love about jazz is just the interaction between the people, the different types of people. Like, for example, in our band, I have 4 other musicians I play with, and they all come from very different backgrounds. But just having that come together and getting across to an audience where you're feeling a genuine appreciation for the music, that's one of my favorite parts, and just playing jazz and continuing the canon.
We're really looking forward to seeing you here at Oaks Garden Theatre, Friday, June 21st. For tickets, niagaraparks.com/jazz.
that's real nice.
Nice location, right?
Yes. Wow. So
Yeah.
it's I like how you put the older version, the jazz. You know what I mean? That's so nice. In the
Yeah,
back.
thank you.
Oh,
I'm trying to
oh,
find you visually on my desktop again. Now I've lost you. But you can hear me,
oh,
right?
yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah, Julian.
Okay, perfect. Oh, there we are. I couldn't find the tab. Yeah.
All right, so you want to send any shout outs to your people? You said some of them
Yeah,
before.
yeah, of course, the board, all of our volunteers, all of the funders and partners, the ones I had mentioned. Everybody's listed on our website, which is niagarajazzfestival.com. What else can I say? So, and then on social media, we're Jazz Niagara. And then the rest of the festival, I had just talked about the first day. On the second day, we have 3 free events in the Niagara region. They're pop-up events at Ferox Winery, Stratus Winery, and Lakeview Winery. It's on our website. It's free. It's they're all wineries, so you can go have a glass of wine. It's kind of business as usual at the winery. Ooh, and there's a pop-up concert.
I drink your water.
Yeah, that's all free. Yeah, maybe get like a little driving service so you can drink lots of wine and water, and then not have to. And then so that's on the Saturday. On the Sunday, we have a jazz picnic at the Brown Homestead with Danielle Bassels. Oh, and the pop-ups feature Ashley St. Pierre with John Sherwood on piano, James Bryan on guitar with Henry Strong on bass. And the third one is Julianne Kuchoki, who's confirming her side player for us. I'm going to be at all of those events. I'm at every event. I open the event, then I hand it over to an MC. So you can please come up and say hi if you're at any of the events. And on the Monday, so after the jazz picnic, which is provided by the Pie Guys, it's going to be delicious picnic with Danielle Bassels doing some swing jazz. And then we take Monday, Tuesday off. On the Wednesday, we have Carl Mayotte coming in from Montreal. He's fusion. For those who are new to jazz, there's so many different genres. So we do find when you asked about challenges earlier, yeah, the challenge is the word jazz because a lot of people know one style that they might not like. And then they're like, I hate jazz because it's like this. No, be open-minded because there is that one style. There's styles of jazz that I'm not too keen on, but there's so many others. Right? So we try and represent a lot of different styles. So we're doing fusion jazz with the bass player Carl Mayotte from Montreal, and that's going to be at the Hair Wine Co. in Niagara-on-the-Lake. Then on this Thursday night, the 27th of June.
That's my birthday.
Okay. Oh, I hope you're coming out. Okay, 2 free tickets for you. And follow up for sure. That's a Nat King Cole tribute. So who doesn't like Nat King Cole? Smooth vocals, piano playing. So emulating Nat King Cole will be Brian Ang. He's coming in from New York City. That's a Steinway event on a Steinway piano. Shout out to Steinway, our piano partner. Also shout out to Ridley College where it will be hosted. So that's on Thursday, June 27th, where we will be giving away the Peter Shea Award that I mentioned. Then on Friday night, the 28th, it's almost sold out. It's Soul Jazz in the Vineyard, and that's Henry of Pelham Winery, a longtime partner as well of the festival. And that is featuring the Quincy Bullen Quartet and soul singer Michael Dunstan on vocals.
Yes, I interviewed Michael Dunstan, Quincy. I've done so.
Well, again, if you want to come out to that one, let me know.
Yes,
I might take a lawn chair because it's almost sold out.
Okay.
And then the next day, and I know I probably won't recite every single band, but it is on the website, niagarajazzfestival.com. But the next day, in partnership with the City of Thorold, our final day on the Saturday, 2 stages, the OLG Fiesta stage and our Groove Guard stage. We're going to go back and forth from 1 p.m. until 10 p.m. So never any dead air. A band, when they break, another band. And some of the bands, we have 2 international bands, the Imbayakunas. We have Wojtek Justina Trio coming in from Holland, featuring band members from Poland, Austria, and Germany. So we've got international artists. We have locally the Brock Jazz Band, Brock Jazz Big Band, 19 band members. We have the Fuat quartet from Toronto. We have Moon from right here in Niagara. We have, oh, one of our faves is a Nemesis, which is beatbox with Scott Jackson and Dr. Draw, beatbox and violin. You got to come out and see what these guys will do for half an hour. Incredible. We also have the Heavyweights Brass Band, so for some New Orleans style jazz. And they'll be also, before they're set in the park, they're going to parade around the city of Thorold so we can get some people who might not know what's going on in the park. And they'll be like, what? Yeah, well, come on.
Come on in.
Just like in New Orleans. Come on in, exactly. Everyone's welcome. Food vendors, beer, wine, cider, water, artisan vendors, all free. And then also tent talks. That'll be going on. So I've got 5 different tent talks. 2 of them are Meet the Artists with the international performers. I've got a tent talk with Tom Russell talking about the history of the Welland Canal. I have a tent talk with Moon talking about their gender, and they're from Jamaica, and just they've got a book that they're selling, and just talking about the challenges of being queer in Jamaica. So really interesting. And I know I'm forgetting one of my tent talks right now, but they're all very important. And yeah, we're very excited to have these talks happening as well at the same time.
Wow. Well, people, it's a whole week. It's a week, right? This thing is a week.
Yeah, kind of 7 days split over 2 weekends. Yeah, from June 21 to 29.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, there we go, people. So, she told us everything. And if anything that you missed, you could just go to the website and you could go see and, get tickets and go down there. And we're going to, celebrate some jazz down there. If you get through the traffic.
Well, that's the thing. So, yeah. Sometimes it takes up to 3 hours on the weekends to get to Niagara. But when you're here,
it's 3 hours.
Sometimes, listen, if you hit the traffic. So try, if not,
it's
an hour 20. But
it's an hour and a half. Sometimes it depends. But yeah, I guess what they're trying, the waiting there because the merging.
Yeah. Now I remembered my last but not least tent talk is Carlos Morgan, who you probably may have interviewed.
Yes, I know him. I interviewed him several times.
Perfect. Yeah. So Carlos is our other tent talk. Sorry, Carlos, so much on the go.
Yeah.
But he's very important. And he'll be talking about the history of Black music in Canada. So how could I forget him? Super important. Yeah. Everything's in the park, and those other events are ticketed. But again, there's that discount for musicians, arts workers, and students. And it's going to be a great time. And please do come out and say hi,
Yes. You guys got to come down. You got to support, Niagara. You get those hotels. It's not when they had that, what is it? The eclipse.
Crazy.
And the hotels are going to be expensive like that. So if you came down.
I know, that was pretty nuts. I was actually traveling to Europe that day, so I missed it. But yeah, I heard it was nuts.
All right. Well, it's been a pleasure, Julie. Next time you got to come on when you're doing the thing. Just come on a little bit earlier so you get people, more people to come. But it's okay. They'll get the word out. So anyways.
Thanks for having me. And we'll definitely stay in touch for future events. We're not going anywhere.
Yes, that's okay. All right. So I do want to thank the viewers tonight for tuning here with Juliet. Yes, for the Niagara Jazz Festival 2024. It's going to be running off for 1 week. So, you guys got to go to the website, get going. Don't say you have nothing to do, because you do have something to do. So we can go down and see all those people. So good night, everybody. And bye for now.
Bye. Thank you for having us.